All right, so for episode 33, we've got an exciting one. We're going to talk about offers again. We've spoken about it a couple of times in other videos, but really just talking about reworking offers and the kind of like underlying economics of offers that can scale to $1 million a year, 10 million a year, even on the higher end. So we want to go into, we're going to talk about some of the things I've learned, Braden's learned, some of the mistakes we made.
Yeah.
Um, and
Wow.
just generally what they look like, because I think over time what you see as you get into the world of online business, no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing operations, sales, service delivery, like any function of those businesses, part of like leading the charge of building them out, no matter what, um, there's one thing that you'll start to see the deeper you go is how much opportunity there is out there and how many good ideas there are all the time, as you learn more about industries. Um, but yeah, to start, I want to talk about maybe like the DNA, the genetics of what really really great offers look like, and try to kind of like rank offers from really bad to really good. So I'm gonna start at like the lowest, like worst possible offer that you could still build $1 million a year company out of, um, and what that looks like. And so to start us off, um, uh, the worst offer that you can do is an offer where you're offering exactly what thousands of other people are also selling. Um, and a great example of this, in my opinion, is you know the classic like Facebook ads for med spas type of offers, or these like similar like niches like these that are where there are hundreds of videos on YouTube with people selling courses specifically for building agencies that sell to med spas. Um, as an example, med spas is just one of many. But where there are tons and tons of people that are being sold on making agencies that do this and being basically told to run the same playbook over and over.
Yeah.
Uh, and we spoke about this kind of like math in a previous video where there's like this ratio between how many people are actually trying to sell a service and then how many businesses, like how many opportunities for the service to be sold actually exist. And um, the uh the biggest thing that kind of bottlenecks you with these offers is it's not novel. So ev- you could come up with almost like every possible angle that exists for selling this service, and several people, maybe dozens and dozens of other people, will have already worked on it and approached the med spas with the same offer of like, hey, you can pay me $100 per lead, or hey, you pay me per appointment, or hey, I'm going to do a discount to customers and run ads off the back of it, or hey, I need you to make AI videos, and I'm going to run Facebook ads. And it's just like the same thing over and over and over, packaged slightly differently. Um, and one of the reasons that being in a super saturated space sucks is um, because there's so much competition, you're going to see like a lot, and because lots of the competition is like noobs, it's people that coming in and like are brand new to all of this. You're going to see the businesses having worked with lots and lots of bad companies and people that cannot get results. So even if you are really freaking good, and even if you have tons of case studies and you have all of the experience in the world, which it might take you 1, 2, 3 years to get to be able to have that level of credibility, you're still trying to sell the same service to a jaded customer that has been burnt so many times and doesn't know what to believe and what's real anymore.
So what you're saying is, demand is here, supply is here, and
Yeah.
this person's tried 10 other agencies, and sometimes it gets to like a race to the bottom as well,
Yeah.
as far as pricing goes. So you
Or offer competition. In
exactly.
order to succeed, Charlie Morgan talks about this. In order to succeed, your offer that gets increasingly more competitive. You need to guarantee crazier and crazier things, and it gets just harder and harder to actually achieve as well. And so you get squeezed by these incredibly intelligent people that are competing against you,
Yeah.
um, for an oversaturated niche. And That's an okay place. That's not the best place to play.
Yeah,
And yet you'll still see people being successful in that space if they work hard enough and they put in the time and the effort and they learn it all, which
yeah.
is the crazier part about it. So that is the worst kind of
That's
effort
going in
that you
F
can possibly
tier.
do.
Like that's going bottom of the
It's F
barrel.
tier,
G tier. I wish we
yeah,
had one of
E
those
tier,
charts.
whatever exists.
We should have got one
Yeah.
of those charts where we can move it, but that's
Well,
going in F tier.
let's see if if the editing team actually watches these videos.
Oh, let's find out. Um,
Probably not. We don't pay enough for that. Um, but the yeah, definitely like F tier. Um, not really like if you're going to enter a space, not the way to do it. And if anything, if you want to win that client base over, you need to come up with a new approach.
yeah,
So moving up the chart of offers, um, the ICP, you know, the ideal client already has way too many people inbound trying to sell them things, especially services, especially marketing services. But you know, one way that you could differentiate yourself a little bit is by offering something different. So if everyone's doing Facebook ads, start doing Google ads. And maybe you can sell people on the fact that, look, hey, people are already looking up med spas in your area. We're just going to capitalize on that traffic on Google and direct them to your site and improve the funnel on your page to capture the lead. And maybe that's a little better. You know, that's something that's slightly newer. It's less competitive. It's easier for you to stand out and be different with. And it's more novel, and it's something that also can provide results. And a massive key part of this entire thing is you need to be able to provide incremental results. And
yeah,
so one of the reasons that competing on Facebook ads sucks for med spas is because there's so many people relative to the amount of actual clients that exist that you need to like you're constantly going to have other agencies offering audits and scrutinizing what you're doing, and you just like uh you constantly need to work incredibly hard to deliver good results. Especially as there's all of this other competition from other med spas as well. So your clients have lots of competition and are experiencing a very saturated space and niche. Um, Whereas something a bit newer or a bit more novel, a bit easier to get results for, is going to allow you to have higher attention with clients. Um, and so this is an important part of the conversation is like, you know, another F tier offer would be like offering something they just don't really need or can't deliver it that doesn't deliver performance and results, even if it is novel. So moving up the tiers, offer something newer to them, but it only goes up a tier if it delivers good results, and that could be something like Google Ads, for example. That could be something like managing their Pinterest accounts. Like maybe you can get great results and performance from Pinterest, and you just do Pinterest ads for med spas, and that's an untapped niche that could exist where lots of their customer base is actually using Pinterest. Now, I'm not saying that's going to actually work, but that would be a way to stand out. And if you get results, then I would actually even move it up from E tier to D tier, and it might be a little bit better. Um, and that could be a way that you start capitalizing and winning that niche is by having something that's very different that performs quite well, that doesn't have hundreds of thousands of YouTube videos teaching people how to deliver the service on. So the barrier to entry is a little bit higher, and as a result, you just get to experience the benefit of low competition. Um, the other cool thing about it is if you're doing something that's novel, the thing that makes you C tier is if you can do something that is new to them that they can turn on, get results, enough results from that they can afford your retainer and are not paying out of pocket, and they can do this quickly, maybe within 30 to 90 days. If they're paying you a $3,000 a month retainer, they need to be able to get new revenue that they wouldn't already have otherwise. And that would make it a C tier offer. Is if, you know, if I'm already running Facebook ads and I'm making $40,000 a month for my med spa, and you come along, you could try to convince me that you're a little bit better and that you can get my revenue up to $45,000 a month. And it's still the reason it's F tier is it's really hard to like actually believe that you might be any better and like see proof of it. And there's a big switching cost, and I don't want to lose my 40K a month and potentially get worse results just to get maybe 50K a month instead. But if you can offer something that is not only novel and provides results, but provides results quickly and quickly enough to create a completely new revenue stream, then we're moving into C tier offers.
gotcha.
And yeah,
So you're still just to recap a little. So you got just traditional Facebook ads, F tier, bottom of the barrel. Then you've got something that's a little bit more novel, maybe same ICP, different or different service, Google ads, Pinterest ads, etc. And then above that, you've got pretty much the speed to where they can get new cash back that justifies the investment, allows them to keep putting money in.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What's
Yes,
next?
exactly. What's next? Great question. What is next? Um, Next, I think I'd move into uh and there are other, by the way, like, the next thing to do would be like go after a niche that's less competitive, that has less people in it, or at least maybe more dumb people that are easy to beat out in terms of the offer you build for the clients, the way that you sell to them, the way that you do pricing, the way that you deliver results. Um, and Again, you can apply the same kind of scale of like, all right, how quickly does it deliver results? How good are those results? And the worst case would be like it takes 12 months to get results, and that would probably, even if it's a new uncompetitive niche, that would probably put you somewhere around E and D tier. Um, so each of these new elements that you can add also have kind of scales on the tier list, but won't go as far down as F tier. They'll bump you at least up at least a couple of tiers. So the next thing would be less competitive niches, places that either have a massive abundance of deals and business that can be won. E-commerce, I still think, is like this, where there's lots of competition on the agency side, but there are still just unlimited brands to work with. Um, and you can like there's still room for the cap on like the scale of agency you can build isn't a few million a year now. It's like 50, 100, maybe 200 plus million a year. So that if you're the top in that category, you can get really big. Um, and that you can maybe even take it further than 100 million a year. And there are agencies that are already doing this, and there are lots of agencies already doing, 10 plus a million a year. Um, and so that is either there's way less competition from the sense that there's less service providers for this niche, or there's way more clients, and so that ratio is just a little better. Like the service provider to potential client ratio has improved. And you can do this in any niche by just saying, oh, we only work with med spas in California, for example. And you can kind of differentiate a little bit there, but even still, you've got high levels of competition, because the agencies can work with anyone anywhere around the world. It doesn't really matter where they're based, but you can stand out a little bit by being niche. However, if you can find industries like, hey, or service offerings like, hey, we improve logistics for uh for retail brands. Now you're starting to play in a game where there's a lot less people. Um, and there's maybe bigger contract sizes. So another dimensional that I'll add is how much what the pricing actually comes out to. Because if you sell something that is $50,000 a month instead of $2,000 a month, then obviously you need less clients to hit a million, less clients to hit 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 million a year. So if there's the competition element and moving upstream to less competitive industries, and then the tier above this, if we want to start getting towards B and A tiers, is offers that can make you a ton of money and don't have much competition. I'm going to share an example, and this is in the world of e-commerce. As somebody I know that does post-purchase funnels for e-commerce brands. So specifically, if I'm not mistaken, they were like, oh my God, e-commerce is decently competitive. There's lots of different services you can offer in the world of e-commerce. You can offer website and landing page optimization. You can do advertising on one channel, just like Meta or Google or Pinterest or X.com. And there are all of these different service categories, and that's one of the reasons that e-commerce is still less competitive versus something like Facebook ads for med spas. Um, um, but there's the novelty, that very new service that we kind of spoke about, like offering Google ads to med spas, exists for all industries and does make it higher quality. And so if you combine novelty, low competition, and high prices, we're starting to work towards B and A tier offers. And B and this example that I'll share is when people check out online what most brands do, and the hundreds of thousands of e-commerce brands that exist, what most brands do is they just kind of stop there. They maybe send you an order confirmation page, like they show you the sorry, they send you to the order confirmation page, you get an order confirmation email, maybe you get added to a newsletter, and now you get into the realm of email marketing services. But I met somebody, or know somebody, that was doing specifically what he offered was custom order confirmation pages and funnels that he sent people down. And he said, "Hey, look, what he realized was when people buy something online, um, uh, when they're in a buying mood, they're way likely to buy more things. So there's lots of people that do all of this like upselling and try to sell you more product when you're in your cart before you check out, but barely anybody optimizes anything after that and tries to sell you more products once you've bought." And he discovered that it's relatively low lift for him. It's basically a landing page style agency, but if he just does it in a slightly different context, he can boost the revenue of a brand by 20%. And if
Yeah.
I'm doing 1 million a month, someone's making me an extra 200K a month, am I going to pay 20 to 50,000 a month for that? Probably. If they're getting great results and the quality is high, definitely. It's way more convenient than building out an entire team to do this, and probably around the same cost if it's high quality. Um, and
And you
so
can
that I would
realize
class
as
in the
well.
B or A tier. Yeah.
Because you can get very very quick cash in because these people have
Yeah.
already bought. You're just bumping them to buy more. Yep, it's so much unrealized revenue that is super easy to just go grab.
Yeah.
So super
That is like definitely a B, maybe even an A tier offer. It gets results immediately. It's and results in the sense of not just revenue, but like way more profit to brands because there's no ad spend being done here. There's no like optimizing email marketing that I already have in place that maybe is now 10% better. It's like completely new category. You're not doing this at all. This is 20% of your revenue lost. That revenue has no other costs associated apart from the product cost. So the profit margin's very high. That is a fucking banger offer.
yeah.
The thing that makes an S tier offer, in my opinion, it goes outside. It's almost like moving away from services. And this is a tiered ranking for service and agency style businesses specifically. In my opinion, it keeps getting better. If you look at other models like Facebook and Instagram, those are like some of the best business models in the world. But specifically for service models, things where you get stronger as you grow and there's more of a flywheel. And I can't even think of many examples of this, but I'll try to provide some. So I'd argue that like people that fall under this category are not necessarily called agencies, but they're different types of service providers. Um, One example of this is credit card companies. They're providing a service by giving you a credit card, and their service is, hey, we give you money, um, and they take a percentage of all of the money that's being spent on the credit card. Another example is banks. It's a service. The barrier to entry is really, really fucking high. You need a lot of capital to do it. This is really like we're talking like S tier difficulty, but also maybe still an A tier opportunity because there's decent level of competition between banks, and that is a relatively competitive space. But it's things that have much higher barriers to entry or compound very nicely as they grow. And you'll see the biggest banks in the world keep getting bigger, and they are protected by the government, and they're really, really hard to take out as businesses.
I
Um,
could think of some more like also like just ones that grow with more people using them. But
yeah,
a good one, a couple that come to mind is Uber,
yeah,
DoorDash. Those are two
sure,
good services. I mean, technically
yeah,
services, although
yeah.
um,
Not, I don't know if I can put them comfortably put them in the category of service firms or agencies, but yeah,
yeah.
those are fantastic businesses that, like, as you said, get better as they grow or as more people get onboarded. Um, the Can I think of an S tier offer in this realm? That post purchase one is pretty good. It's up there. It's maybe definitely A tier. It might be S tier. Can I think of an S tier example? I probably
Maybe it's
should have
hard
thought
to
of
think of
some.
an S tier example, but what are some like if I'm trying to think of one right now, and I've got a ton of different industries in mind. What framework will you go around? I mean, obviously you kind of just laid it out as far as the factors that go into it, but what's that difference in S tier outside of just maybe network effect?
I mean, network effect is a crazy, it's a crazy addition to a business where you get bigger and better as you grow. Um, and that makes it harder and harder to compete with. And that's what lots of the best companies in the world are: Spotify, Uber, Google, Instagram,
Yeah.
GitHub. Uh, these companies are strong network effect businesses. Um,
I would also say, I know you mentioned this, and I think it's a good framework just to get some ideas of what is out there as well. But specifically with what your agency, if you have an agency already, might be doing, there's a ton of different areas where people are making money within that system. I think you've got a very
mhm,
good example where, like, if you've got a marketing agency that's making money, the e-commerce is making money, but where is a lot of the money going?
yeah,
Facebook.
this is that's definitely a way to think about it. It's like, yeah, for sure. Look at where dollars flow. So as you start work, if you're already working with clients, it's easy to see this. You can start asking them, what are they spending money on? In your example, like in your industry, I don't think this is S tier, but we've been talking about brokerages a lot and how real estate agents are giving up a percentage of their earnings to brokerages. And the brokerages in many cases don't do much. Um, you know, that's a probably a B or A tier business because the competition, there's still competition, it's decently competitive, but it's way less competitive compared to a real estate marketing agency.
Yeah.
Um, um, Now it's missing the defensibility of an S tier, service business, and so maybe that's just the maybe actually there's no such thing as S tier service business in my mind, and we've already messaged it. Oh, we've already kind of hit that. Um, we'll have a think. If we come up with S tier business models
We'll
for
come up
agencies
with
and
it.
services,
Yeah.
we'll comment. We'll leave a comment or share it in a future video. But hopefully, this is kind of helpful if you're thinking through how to improve an offer. And it's the biggest thing, the biggest part of leverage that you have is improving the way that your model works, improving the way that your offer works. Um, uh, and yeah, if you want to grow faster,
Yeah.
it's something you should spend a lot of time on.
I think a good rule of thumb as well is all businesses are hard, so you might as well choose the one with the best opportunity. So definitely, I mean, the vehicle you're in matters so much. Um,
Mm.
find the best one.
Well,
Hopefully, this advice
cool.
helps.
Looking forward to seeing your applications. If you don't know what OB is, you can find out a bit more in the description. Um, Brit and I work with one person that we accept every single month into a very small group of high level operators in the agencies and services realm. Um, and there's not really any downside to putting in an application, so you should try. And if we accept you, we'll see you inside.
Easy.